version at the White House.
The New York Times reports former FBI Director James Comey wrote memos after his meetings with the president. An unnamed source says a memo from February said President Trump asked Comey to shut down the FBI investigation of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. The president is quoted as saying, "I hope you can let this go," and that Flynn was a good guy. The White House says the president never asked Comey to end any investigation, but some say the president may have obstructed justice.
There's been enough alleged publicly to want to bring the director back to testify, ideally in open session, either before our committee or the Judiciary Committee, but he should come back to the Congress and share what he knows in terms of the president's conversations with him.
I'm just sad for the country because we have to get to the bottom of this. And I believe this is not a time for Republicans to hide. And I also don't think it's a time for Democrats to exploit.
The chairman of the House Oversight Committee wants all the documents pertaining to any conversations President Trump had with Comey. The FBI has 1 week to hand them over or face a subpoena.
Former Acting Attorney General Sally Yates is telling her side of the story when it comes to the events leading up to Michael Flynn being fired as National Security Advisor. In her first interview since she was let go, Yates said she warned the White House that Flynn had lied about his contacts with the Russians.
I think Michael Flynn should have been fired.
I think that this was a serious compromise situation, that the Russians had real leverage. He also had lied to the Vice President of the United States. You know, whether he's fired or not is a decision for the President of the United States to make, but it doesn't seem like that's a person who should be sitting in the National Security Advisor position.
Flynn was fired 18 days later. The FBI is now investigating Flynn's contacts with the Russians.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says he is willing to tell Congress what President Trump shared with them last week. He says he's willing to provide a transcript of the meeting if the administration finds it appropriate. CNN reports that Israel was the source of that intelligence given to Russia. President Trump talked to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu last night. Israel says they only talked about the president's visit, which is next week.
Police arrested a suspect in the Sunday